What if the man who once destroyed your confidence returned years later? Not as the boy who broke you, but as the billionaire superstar determined to rebuild your heart. Before we begin, tell us in the comments what city are you watching from. And don't forget to rate this story from 0 to 10 at the end. Enjoy the story. Raya Alexander had learned the art of peace the hard way. Not the kind of peace that came from silence or meditation. She was terrible at sitting still, but the kind that blossomed from creating a world where beauty felt effortless, where the sunrise always met the ocean at the perfect angle, where the breeze whispered through palm trees just softly enough to soothe the most overwhelmed soul, and where guests from all over the world paid premium rates to stay in her eco-luxury resort, a floating paradise nestled on Banana Island's most coveted coastline. This resort was the last gift her parents left behind before they passed, a sprawling masterpiece of glass villas suspended over turquoise water, nature paths woven between sculpted gardens, and suites so private that wealthiest CEOs and international celebrities booked them months in advance. Rhea had taken their dream and expanded it into something even more exquisite. Now 10 new waterfront villas were rising along the shoreline, sleek white structures with infinity decks, floating hammocks, and soft gold lighting that made the entire space look like a scene stolen straight from a fantasy film. Construction had been messy, loud, and chaotic, but the scenery remained breathtaking. Every morning she walked through it with a childish ache in her chest, a reminder that this place had been built with love, her parents' love, a heritage she protected fiercely. Well, at 28, she had everything she thought she wanted: a thriving business, a loyal staff, a waiting list that stretched for 3 months. And of course, Bentley, the mischievous pet duck she rescued as a fluffy yellow baby and now deeply regretted spoiling. "Bentley!" Rhea shouted as she sprinted across the resort walkway in tailored navy trousers and a sleeveless royal blue blouse. "Come back here right now, or I swear I'll put you on house arrest." Guests lounging by the saltwater pool began laughing as Bentley, glossy white feathers shimmering in the morning sun, waddled with zero remorse toward a neighbor's estate, straight through the manicured hedge, straight toward the koi pond where he regularly terrorized the fish. "Miss Raya," one of the security guards called. "We've got him. Don't worry." "No, you don't," she yelled back. "He's a criminal mastermind." By the time she reached the reception lobby 20 minutes later, she looked like she'd run a marathon. Her hair, normally a sleek, dark waterfall, was a windblown mess. Her skin glowed from exertion, and her mood hovered somewhere between exhausted and stabby. She fixed her blouse, smoothed her ponytail, inhaled deeply, and walked into the cool, scented elegance of her 5-star reception. Polished marble floors, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the ocean, soft jazz humming from hidden speakers, warm lighting bouncing off gold accents and lush green plants. Heaven, her sanctuary. At least until the front doors slid open and walked in the man she least expected and least wanted to ever see again. Khalifa. The boy who once ruined her confidence with a single sentence. The guy who made her teenage years feel like a slow-burning humiliation. The stranger-turned superstar who had somehow become even more dangerously attractive with age. And of course, because life enjoyed mocking her, he looked like sin wrapped in designer linen. Tall, effortlessly masculine, hair dark and tousled just right, chiseled jaw, eyes sharp enough to cut through armor. The kind of man magazines used as covers to boost sales. The kind of man brands used to sell fantasies. The kind of man who should have been illegal to stare at for more than 5 seconds. He walked through her lobby like he owned it. Women gasped. A group of foreign guests whispered excitedly. Staff members froze midway through their duties. And Rhea? Her heart slammed into her ribs so hard she almost lost her balance. No way. This cannot be happening. Not here. Not him. He spotted her immediately. His grin formed instantly. Slow, intoxicating, edged with a familiarity she didn't ask for. "Raya Alexander." His voice slid through the room like warm honey. "I was hoping you'd still recognize me." She swallowed hard, forced her shoulders back, and lifted her chin. "I recognize trouble when I see it," she said sweetly. Welcome to Alexander Reef Resort. Please keep your ego contained within the premises. A few staff members choked back laughter. Liam just smirked. God, why did that smirk still have the power to irritate her nerve endings? He placed his sunglasses on the reception counter, slowly, like he was aware the whole room was watching him, which of course they were. Rhea pretended not to notice the way the lobby camera flashed from outside. Paparazzi were already circling. Perfect. Just what she needed while coordinating a celebrity wedding for the mayor's son. I need a room, Liam said. Something private, something quiet, preferably far from the screaming fans outside. Rhea gave him a tight smile. We have suites available, but privacy here comes at a premium. I can afford it, he replied, sliding his black metal credit card toward her. Unless you still think I'm not good enough to be in your space. Her eyelid twitched. He did not just say that. High school memories hit her like a punch to the stomach. Her standing by her locker, holding a handwritten love note she never sent because he saw it first, and laughed. The humiliation, the whispers, the sting of his careless words. She forced the memory back into its grave. This is a resort, Mr. Khalifa, she said smoothly. Everyone is welcome, even people with questionable personalities. The receptionist beside her pressed their lips together, trying not to burst out laughing. Liam leaned closer, lowering his voice. You really still hate me, don't you? I don't hate you. I just don't trust you. And I definitely don't want my heart anywhere near you again. Rhea looked him dead in the eye. I don't hate anyone, she lied calmly, but I prioritize my mental health. Liam's dimples appeared, those traitorous dimples that ruin women nationwide. Fair enough, he murmured. She typed his booking with mechanical precision, refusing to look up even once. But she could feel him watching her, studying her, trying to read a story she had no intention of letting him access again. His room assignment popped on the screen. Suite 7B, the one with the private deck overlooking the sunset. Great, just great. Your suite is ready, she said. Khalid will take your bags. I'd prefer if you showed me, he replied casually. No, he laughed. Didn't think so. He took the key card, his fingers brushing hers. Accidentally or intentionally, she couldn't tell, but the brief touch sent a shock through her chest she absolutely did not approve of. Thanks, Rhea. Enjoy your stay, Liam. He walked away, escorted by the bellhop, every step dripping with the kind of confidence only superstardom could inflate. Once the doors to the elevator closed, Rhea finally exhaled. Her assistant, Evelyn, rushed up to her. Ma'am, she whispered, did you know he was coming? No. Should we prepare? You know how celebrities can be. Oh, trust me, Rhea said under her breath. I know exactly how this one can be. She turned toward the ocean, trying to calm the buzzing in her chest. This resort was her sanctuary, her fresh start, her pride. The last thing she wanted was Liam Khalifa walking in with his charm, his fame, and his inconveniently perfect face. But deep down, a quiet part of her, the part she tried to bury years ago, whispered the one question she never wanted to ask. Why is he really here? And why now, when her life was finally perfect? Rhea Alexander woke up the next morning to the one thing she hated more than late deliveries, power fluctuations, or construction delays: chaos. The kind of chaos that only one man could bring. Her phone buzzed non-stop on the nightstand. Staff messages, guest concerns, security alerts, and the one she dreaded. Ma'am, paparazzi at the main gate. They are refusing to leave. Also, there are women outside. Many women. They are chanting Liam's name. Rhea dragged a hand down her face. Of course this would happen. When she inherited the resort, she expected occasional high-profile guests, senators, CEOs, foreign diplomats. But she never, ever expected a superstar actor whose fan base practically worshipped him. She showered, got dressed in a soft beige jumpsuit and gold sandals, tied her hair into a neat ponytail, and braced herself. Her day started the same way all disasters started. Security met her at the reception with the tightest expressions she'd ever seen. Good morning, Miss Raya, Tunda, her head of security, said. Or, well, as good as it can be. She frowned. How bad? Paparazzi are climbing boats at the marina trying to get photos of Khalifa inside his suite. We've blocked the entrances, but they're multiplying. Multiplying? Yes, ma'am, like mosquitoes. Wonderful. And the guests? She asked. He winced. Half of them are excited. The other half are threatening to leave because of the crowd. Rhea inhaled deeply. I'll handle the guests. Keep the paparazzi from getting past the main gate. Tunde nodded and hurried off. She walked into the reception lobby and nearly crashed into another problem. And now, a group of 10 young women in tight dresses and expensive heels were clustered in front of her check-in desk, loudly arguing about who should be allowed inside the resort first. I saw him on Instagram live here, one shrieked. He's staying in Suite 7B, another yelled. I'm going to give him breakfast in bed. Over my dead body. Rhea pinched the bridge of her nose. Ladies, she said calmly, this is a private property. You need a reservation to enter. But Liam is here, the tallest one said, blinking dramatically. We're here to see him. That is not a valid reason. She snapped her fingers, signaling 2 guards, who escorted the women away despite their dramatic protests. The moment they were gone, Rhea released a heavy sigh. Peace, silence. Finally, Rhea? She froze. Of course, because why would peace last more than 5 seconds? She turned, and there he was. Khalifa, in a white t-shirt that somehow made him look even more annoyingly attractive than last night. His dark curls hung over his forehead, and he looked like he had just woken up. Sleepy, soft, ridiculously handsome, and painfully unaware of the trouble he was causing. She crossed her arms. Why are you out of your suite? He blinked innocently. Because I'm hungry? Order room service. I did 3 minutes ago. He shrugged. Got bored of waiting. Rhea glared at him. Your presence is disrupting the entire resort. I noticed, he replied with zero shame. They're loud for this early in the morning. She rolled her eyes. They're here for you, Liam. I figured. A slow smirk tugged at his lips, those stupid lips that millions of fans screenshot weekly, the smirk that made her teenage heart flutter before he shattered it. Well, he said, I didn't know I still had that effect on people. You don't, she snapped, then realized she'd said it too quickly. Liam's eyes sparkled mischievously. Is that so? She straightened her shoulders. Yes, and I need you to stay in your suite. The guests are complaining. Instead of obeying, he stepped closer, close enough that she smelled his cologne, a warm, clean scent with a hint of amber. I didn't mean to cause trouble, he said softly. This is why I'm here, to escape all that. Rhea paused. Escape what? He exhaled. Noise, expectations, everyone wanting something from me. He dragged a hand through his hair. I just want quiet. You came to the wrong place, she muttered. His lips lifted again. Or maybe the right one. Her stomach tightened. No, she said quickly. Don't start that. What? That look, that tone, that whatever this is. I'm not falling for your charm. He placed a hand dramatically on his chest. Me? Charming? Stop. He laughed, deep, warm, annoyingly beautiful. She turned to walk away, but Liam followed her into the lounge. No shame, no apology. He leaned on the marble counter beside her, watching her type on her tablet. You know, he said casually, you've changed. I would hope so, she replied. I'm not 16 anymore. I didn't mean physically. His voice softened. Though you look different, better, stronger. She paused mid-typing. That tone, gentle, regretful, hit her harder than she expected. Don't do that, she whispered. Do what? Act like you remember. I do remember, he said quietly. More than you think. She swallowed. Well, keep it to yourself. He didn't argue. He just looked at her with something that made her chest twist in a way she didn't like. Before she could respond, her assistant Evelyn appeared in a panic. Raya, the mayor's son is waiting in the event hall for his wedding review, And the decorators need your approval on the stage layout. Rhea cursed under her breath. She didn't have time for this Liam-induced emotional hurricane. I'll be there in a minute, she said. Evelyn nodded and rushed off. Rhea turned to Liam. Go back to your suite. He tilted his head. What if I help you instead? No. I'm actually good with events, he offered. I did 3 movie premieres last year. Absolutely not, he grinned. You're adorable when you're stressed. Goodbye, Liam. But he didn't leave. Instead, he walked beside her down the hallway like he belonged there. Every staff member stared. Every guest whispered. And Rhea's pulse betrayed her. In the event hall, wedding planners crowded around mood boards, floral mock-ups, lighting samples, and table arrangements. The mayor's son stood near the stage, tall, polished, and very annoyed. You're late, he said. Before Rhea could apologize, Liam stepped forward. She was handling security issues, he said smoothly. It won't happen again. Everyone froze. The mayor's son blinked. Is that Liam Khalifa? Liam extended a hand with a polite smile. In the flesh. Oh my God, the groom gasped. Can you help us pick the photo backdrop? Rhea choked. But Liam? He accepted instantly. Absolutely. Let's plan a wedding. Rhea closed her eyes. Of all the disasters she imagined, this was worse. Much worse. Because with Liam now involved in the wedding planning, one thing became painfully clear. Avoiding him would be impossible. In her heart, it suddenly felt like the most vulnerable thing in the room. The problem with Liam Khalifa, Rhea decided, was that he refused to behave like a problem. He was supposed to be a walking disaster, a loud, arrogant, self-obsessed star who stomped through her carefully curated piece and left glittering chaos behind. Instead, 3 days after his arrival, he had somehow become helpful. It started small. On Monday, he was spotted in the outdoor restaurant helping a flustered waiter carry a heavy tray of cocktails to a group of influencers by the pool. Cameras were everywhere, but instead of posing, he focused on balancing the glasses and cracking jokes that made the staff relax. So, on Tuesday, he joined the resort yoga class at sunrise, not on some elevated platform like a guest of honor, but at the back row, following instructions and laughing at himself when he wobbled during tree pose. The attending guests left glowing reviews about the peaceful vibe and relaxed atmosphere. On Wednesday morning, he was in the gym, not demanding private access, but trading playful banter with the trainer and encouraging a nervous older guest who felt intimidated by the equipment. Everywhere Rhea turned, someone had another story. Mr. Liam tipped me extra. Mr. Liam insisted on queuing like everyone else at the juice bar. Mr. Liam said your resort is his favorite place in the world. It irritated her and got under her skin more than she cared to admit. But the moment he won over Bentley, she knew she was in serious trouble. It happened late that afternoon. Rhea was on a call with the lighting company, pacing along the stone pathway near the water villas, when she heard frantic splashing and loud shouting from the neighboring dock. Bentley! Her heart dropped. She hung up mid-sentence and ran toward the noise. Bentley had escaped again. Of course he had. Only this time, he'd taken things to a new level of drama. The white duck paddled frantically in the water near one of the private speedboats, caught between the resort dock and a moving yacht. The waves from the yacht's engine churned around him, pushing him back and forth like a helpless toy. Stop the yacht, Rhea shouted, breathless, as she sprinted to the edge of the dock. Stop it! There's an animal in the water! The staff scrambled. Someone blew a whistle. The yacht started slowing down, but the distance between the boat and Bentley narrowed at a terrifying pace. Rhea kicked off her sandals, ready to jump without thinking. Dress, phone, dignity and all. A hand caught her arm. Don't, a familiar voice said. You'll get pulled under. Liam. Before she could protest, he ripped off his t-shirt in one swift movement and dove into the water. Liam, someone gasped. He swam fast, cutting through the waves with the ease of someone who'd grown up near the coast. Rhea's pulse hammered as she watched him fight the current, the water slapping against his shoulders. Come on, she whispered, hands trembling. Bentley quacked in full panic, flapping uselessly. At the last second, as the yacht's slowed hull created a powerful drag, Liam reached forward and scooped the duck into his arms, twisting his body to shield the little creature from the pull. Staff members on the dock shouted instructions, throwing out a lifebuoy. Liam wrapped one arm around it with the effortless focus of someone who'd done this before and let the rope pull them both toward the dock. Bentley clung to his forearm like a soggy, traumatized marshmallow. By the time they reached the ladder, Rhea was kneeling at the edge. The world narrowed to one point: him. He climbed up, dripping wet, curls slicked back, chest rising and falling with heavy breaths. Water ran in rivulets down his skin, catching the sunlight. Bentley sat on his arm, trembling and very much alive. Liam grinned breathlessly as he handed the duck to her. "I believe this criminal belongs to you." Rhea's throat tightened. You could have been hurt." He shrugged, still catching his breath. "So could he." "He's just a duck, Liam. You love him," he said simply. "That makes him important." The words hit her harder than the sight of him in the water. For a moment, everyone around them blurred. Staff, guests, whispers, phones filming from a distance. Rhea looked down at Bentley, who promptly buried his face on her chest, quaking. "You're insane," she whispered. "Thank you." Liam gave a half smile. "I've been called worse." That night, videos of Liam diving into the water to save a resort duck began circulating online. But instead of tagging the resort in a scandal, the post praised its beauty, tranquility, and human-hearted luxury. Liam had done more than save Bentley. He'd protected her brand, and he hadn't once tried to spin it for attention. 2 days later, he showed up in her office with another surprise. "A ride," he said. Rhea didn't even look up from her laptop. "I'm busy." "You've been busy since I got here." "That's because you brought your fan club to my doorstep." He stepped closer, dropping a sleek black folder on her desk. She reluctantly glanced at it. Inside were aerial mock-ups and digital renders of her resort. "You did these?" she asked, startled. "A friend of mine is an architectural photographer," Liam said. "He owes me a favor. I asked him to create a conceptual shoot plan for you, for free. Aerial shots, cinematic angles, promotional footage. If you like it, he'll come down next month and shoot everything." She stared at the images. The resort from above, floating like a jewel on teal water. Villas glowing like lanterns. The coastline framed like the opening shot of a luxury film. It was stunning. It was smart branding. It was thoughtful. "Why would you do this?" she asked slowly. His gaze softened. "Because I meant it when I said this place feels like the first real breath I've taken in years. I want people to see it the way I see it." Something in her chest slipped. "I still don't have time for a ride," she replied, closing the folder even though she wanted to keep staring. "1 hour," he bargained. "Consider it a work meeting." "With you?" "Yes." He flashed that maddening half-smile. "For business inspiration." She narrowed her eyes. "What kind of ride?" An hour later, she found herself buckled into a helicopter above the Lagos coastline, wondering how exactly she'd lost that argument. The rotors thundered overhead, but inside the cabin, everything felt strangely intimate. Just her, Liam, and the pilot. Below them, the city spread in glittering layers. The curve of the Atlantic, the snake-like movement of bridges, the clusters of high-rises in Victoria Island and Ikoyi. Banana Island appeared like a private gem. Her resort, its glass villas, the docks, the gardens, all so small and precise from up here. "Look," Liam said softly, pointing. "Your empire." Her throat clenched. From this height, the construction site didn't look messy. It looked visionary, expansive, a dream in motion. "You did that," he continued. "You took what your parents built and turned it into something world-class." Raya swallowed. "Don't romanticize it. It's just business." "Oh, come on." He leaned closer, his shoulder brushing hers. "You care too much for it to be just business." She looked away from him, out at the sea, at waves that never stopped moving. "Caring doesn't always end well." He was quiet for a moment. "I know." His tone had changed, stripped of humor, stripped of ego. It made her glance back at him, despite herself. He was staring out of his window, jaw tense, eyes distant. "Why are you really here, Liam?" she asked. She'd been wanting to ask since he walked into her lobby like a storm wrapped in white linen. He didn't dodge this time. "My show got picked apart by the media," he said slowly. "Rumors, scandals, fake stories. One of the producers leaked private arguments to make me look difficult. The network threatened to cut me. My team wanted me to fight back, to do interviews, to spill shit about everyone else." He shook his head. "I realized something. I didn't know who I was without all the noise, without the persona." He turned to her, meeting her gaze with something raw. "So I came here, to the last place that felt real." Her chest squeezed. "High school was real to you?" she asked quietly. "You were a god there, Liam. I was the girl everyone whispered about after you laughed at me." Well, his face flinched. "I know what I did. I remember the note. I remember what I said, and I've thought about it more times than I care to admit." She froze. He remembered the note. He remembered the cruel joke. All this time she'd convinced herself he'd forgotten, that she was just one of 1,000 girls who passed through his story. "You didn't deserve that," he continued, voice low. "I was stupid, insecure, trying to impress the wrong crowd. You were the one person who actually saw me before the attention started, and I ruined it." The helicopter hummed around them, a bubble separating them from the rest of the world. Rhea forced a steady breath. "An apology 10 years late is not very useful." "I'm not asking for forgiveness," he said. "I'm just trying to stop pretending it didn't happen." She looked back out the window, eyes stinging unexpectedly. Somewhere below, Bentley was probably pecking at someone's shoe like nothing in the world bothered him. "I built that resort," she said, nodding toward the shrinking island, "because I never wanted to feel small again, not because of anyone's words, not because of any man." "I'm glad you did." His voice was almost a whisper. "You're incredible, Raya." The sincerity in his tone scared her more than any flirtation. Because as the helicopter circled back toward Banana Island, as the coastline glittered beneath the falling sun, she realized she wasn't just looking at a movie star anymore. She was looking at a man with tired eyes and a heavy heart, who jumped into the ocean to save her ridiculous duck and quietly rearranged his schedule to help her business shine. A man who had once broken her confidence and now seemed determined to rebuild something with the pieces. But letting him close meant opening the door to every old wound she'd buried. And Rhea Alexander had sworn, deep in the quiet of her own heart, that she never forgot twice. Rhea Alexander should have known peace wouldn't survive long. Not with Liam Khalifa on her island, not with the paparazzi camping outside the gate, and definitely not with a wedding only 5 days away. But nothing prepared her for the morning. The internet declared she was Liam Khalifa's mystery lover. She had just stepped out of her bungalow, hair in a neat bun, white linen shirt tucked into mint green trousers, when her assistant Evelyn came running toward her, tablet clutched to her chest. "Rhea, don't panic," she said breathlessly. Rhea instantly panicked. What happened? Did Bentley escape again? No, much worse. Evelyn turned the tablet around. On the screen, a gossip blog headline screamed, "Liam Khalifa spotted with mystery woman at luxury resort secret romance." Below it was a blurry paparazzi photo, a photo of her and Liam stepping out of the event hall together yesterday. He wasn't even touching her, but the camera angle made it look intimate, like they were whispering secrets. Rhea's stomach dropped. "Oh, hell no. That's not the only article," Evelyn whispered. "It's trending on Twitter. People zoomed into the photo and identified your bracelet. They've dug up your family background. Some think he's staying here because of you." Rhea closed her eyes. Of course they did. Within an hour, the resort turned into a circus. Guests kept asking for accidental sightings. Influencers booked spa treatments hoping to bump into Liam. The wedding planner had a meltdown because the groom's mother insisted on moving her entire bridal shower indoors, so no fangirls ruined the photos. And Rhea, she spent her morning putting out metaphorical fires. "No, Madam Taiwo, Liam is not officiating the wedding. No, sir, you cannot book Suite 7B just because he slept there. No, Miss Fola, you cannot stage a spontaneous encounter with him by the pool. And to her security team, no one is allowed to live stream around him. I don't care how many followers they promise. By noon, Rhea was exhausted. Her nerves were thin, and all she wanted was 5 uninterrupted minutes of silence. She got 3. Because the moment she entered the staff corridor, Liam stepped out of the gym. Damp hair, gray t-shirt clinging to muscles, she tried very, very hard not to acknowledge. Rhea, he said, noticing her expression immediately. What happened? She didn't bother hiding her frustration. You happened? Liam, did you check your phone today? The entire internet thinks we're dating. His eyebrows lifted. Are we upset about that? Her jaw dropped. Yes! He raised both hands in surrender. Okay. Breathe. I don't have time to breathe, she snapped. I have a wedding falling apart, guests losing their minds, and reporters climbing trees outside the gate. His lips twitched like he wanted to laugh. She glared. Laugh and I'll drown you in the pool. He bit back the smile. Fine, come with me. I don't have Tim. He took her hand. The contact was so unexpected, so warm, so stupidly grounding, that she froze. 2 minutes, he said gently. Please. Reluctantly, dangerously, she followed him out the back door, past the palm trees, onto the secluded dock behind the villas. The ocean breeze was soft, the waves steady, the world calmer. Better? He asked. She didn't answer. The silence felt safer. He leaned against the railing beside her, eyes on the horizon. The rumor will die down. Not if you keep being you. What does that mean? She turned to him. You're everywhere, Liam, helping people, fixing things, being charming. And now the world thinks you're here for me. He glanced at her with a look she didn't like. Warm, soft, knowing. Maybe I am. She looked away immediately. Don't start. Raya, he said quietly, why does the idea bother you so much? Because it made her remember. Because it made her feel 12 different things at once. Because she didn't want to fall for a man who already broke her heart once. But she said none of that. Instead, you're distracting me from my work. You're distracting me from my life, he replied, almost under his breath. The words curled into her chest before she could shove them away. But then his phone buzzed, and everything changed. He read the notification, face going pale. What is it? Rhea asked. He swallowed hard. A scandal. The network leaked a statement claiming I was emotionally unstable on set and abandoned my responsibilities to chase a romantic fling in Africa. Rhea felt the air shift. That's not true, she whispered. He looked at her with something she'd never seen in his eyes before. Fear. My career could tank because of this, he said quietly. If the public believes I left work to chase you, her pulse stopped. Me? He nodded. They're using you to make me look irresponsible. They want people to think I ran away for selfish reasons. Her breath quickened. Liam, I didn't ask for any of this. I know, he said quickly, stepping closer. I know. This isn't your fault. He ran a hand through his hair. I should have told you earlier. I didn't come here by accident. I came because... His voice faltered. Because what? She asked softly. He looked at her then. Really looked at her. Like he was standing on a ledge and the truth was the drop. Because the night before I left LA, someone sent me a message, he said. Someone from my old school. They sent me a screenshot of the note you wrote me in high school. Rhea's heart slammed to a stop. No. She had burned that memory years ago. Her voice broke. What note? You know which one, he whispered. The one you wrote for me but never sent. Her cheeks heated, her stomach twisted. Why would anyone send that to you? I don't know, but it hit me. Hard. He took a shaky breath. I remembered everything. The way I ruined it. The way I humiliated you. Liam. No. Let me finish. His eyes were glassy now. You were the first girl who ever liked me for who I was, not who I could be. and I destroyed that. I made you feel small so I could feel big. I've hated that version of myself for years. Rhea's chest ached, old wounds reopening like fresh cuts. I didn't come to Lagos to hide from the media, he said. I came because I needed to face you. I needed to tell you I never forgot that moment, that I didn't laugh because of you. I laughed because I was scared, because you mattered more than any girl ever had. Silence pressed between them. Raw, heavy, too real. Rhea, he whispered, voice trembling. I came here to fix what I broke. Her eyes stung. He reached for her hand again, slowly, gently, but she pulled it away. I don't know if I can ever trust you, she said, voice cracking. You hurt me once, and I don't forget twice. Liam looked devastated, but he nodded. I'll wait, he whispered, even if it takes forever. Rhea turned away before he could see the tears in her eyes. Because the worst part wasn't that he remembered the past. The worst part was that her heart remembered him, too. Banana Island glowed like a jewel at dusk. Lights twinkled across the waterfront, golden reflections rippling across the peaceful water, and a warm breeze carried the scent of hibiscus from the gardens. The resort, Rhea's resort, looked exactly the way she once dreamed it would. Expanded, elegant, alive. Months had passed since the chaos, the rumors, the confessions, and the shattering truth that stitched her past back together. Now her world was quieter, but in the most beautiful way. The 10 new waterfront villas stood proudly along the shoreline, a ribbon of glowing architecture. Their infinity decks spilled over the ocean in soft curves. Couples posed for engagement photos there, influencers begged for shoots, and global travel magazines sent repeated requests to feature the resort on their covers. And Raya? She stood at the center of it all, not overwhelmed, not hiding, but breathing deeply, proud, whole. The celebrity weddings she coordinated had been a national sensation. Every detail, from the rose gold floating lanterns to the live orchestra on the water, had gone viral. Guests raved. The mayor's son sent a handwritten letter thanking her for saving his event from near disaster. International clients began booking exclusive retreats months in advance. But the biggest change wasn't professional. It was personal, quiet, and sitting next to her, right now. Rhea leaned against the glass railing of her new private rooftop, a place she designed as an escape for herself, a sanctuary above the world. The rooftop was minimalistic, soft white couches, warm string lights, and a fire bowl flickering in the center. Beside her, Khalifa sat in a comfortable black hoodie and joggers, legs stretched out, face relaxed in a way she rarely saw in his public life. His stardom didn't reach up here. Neither did his pressure, or hers. For once, they were just two people watching Lagos shimmer into night. He glanced sideways. You're staring. She smirked. I'm allowed. You stare at me all the time. Guilty, he murmured, lips curving. She shifted a little closer, letting her shoulder brush his. Their silence felt warm, soothing, the kind of silence she once believed she'd never be able to share with him again. Below them, the resort hummed with soft activity. The last guests of the evening strolled along the pathways. Candlelit dinners glowed at the oceanfront restaurant. Bentley was now the most well-behaved duck in West Africa. Rhea laughed softly to herself at the thought. Liam raised a brow. What's funny? Bentley, she replied. He actually listens now. That's because I threatened to send him to an obedience academy. You didn't, she looked at him. Please tell me you didn't. I did, Liam said proudly, and he calmed down immediately. Fear is a powerful motivator, my love. She hit his shoulder lightly. You're ridiculous. He grinned, satisfied. Across the rooftop, Bentley waddled in a circle near a tiny bowl of lettuce Liam set out earlier. He was calm, quiet, content, like the whole world had somehow aligned itself. Like everything was where it belonged. Rhea took a slow breath. I can't believe how much has changed. Liam hummed. Good changes? She nodded. The best kind. He leaned back slightly, studying her the way he always did when she drifted into her head. Tell me. Rhea wrapped her arms around herself, though she wasn't cold. I used to think I didn't need anyone, that I could build my life alone and be fine, maybe even be proud of it. But, Liam prompted gently. She met his eyes. Then you came back, and I hated you for it, truly. You messed up everything I thought I knew. He winced a little even now. I'm not proud of who I was. I know, she whispered, but I'm proud of who you are now. He blinked. The compliment hit him deeper than she expected. Rhea continued softly. You didn't just show up. You stayed, you helped, you listened, and you gave me something I didn't realize I'd been missing. Liam sat up straighter. What's that? A partner. Her voice trembled with the enormity of the truth. Someone who doesn't run at the first sign of chaos. Someone who doesn't see me as the girl he once embarrassed. Someone who rebuilt pieces of me without asking for anything in return. His expression shifted, open, vulnerable, full of that quiet gratitude she saw in him more and more these days. Rhea, he whispered, I didn't rebuild you. You rebuilt yourself. I just finally became worthy enough to stand beside you while you did it. Her breath hitched. He took her hand, his thumb brushing the back of it. I'm grateful every day that you let me try again. I know I didn't deserve a second chance. But you gave me one anyway. She shook her head. No, Liam, you earned it. The city lights flickered like stars beneath them. The air was warm, the night calm. He leaned in and pressed a kiss to her temple, soft, reverent, full of all the things he didn't have to say anymore. Rhea's heart swelled. For years, she'd believed strength meant building walls so high no one could climb them. But strength, she realized now, also meant letting someone in, letting someone see the bruises, the past, the soft places she had once armored, letting someone love her, fully, honestly, without fear. Liam's fingers intertwined with hers. Tell me something? Do you still think I came here just to escape? She smiled. Maybe, but now I know you stayed for the right reasons. He brushed her hair behind her ear with gentle fingers. I stayed for you. Her heart didn't jump or panic this time. It settled, in the place where truth lived. Below them, the waves crashed gently against the shoreline. Above them, the Lagos skyline shimmered like a living galaxy. Rhea leaned her head on Liam's shoulder, the moment quiet and perfect. I didn't just prove you wrong, she whispered. I proved myself right. Liam tightened his arm around her. Right about what? That love isn't something to fear. Her smile warmed. It's something to choose. He kissed her forehead. And I choose you. Every version of you. Always. Rhea closed her eyes. She had inherited a legacy. She had built an empire. But here, on this rooftop, with the man who once shattered her confidence and now held her heart so carefully, she had found something far more precious. A love she never expected. A love that healed her in places she once believed would stay broken. A love that wasn't loud or dramatic, but steady. True. Hers. And as Bentley quacked proudly in the background, Rhea Alexander realized the future didn't scare her anymore. Because she wasn't walking into it alone.